That's a great jam. I love that.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Eles deu nothing. Eles deu nothing. Not one of you gonna do nothing.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
When the opponent expands, I contract. When he contracts, I expand.
Well, hello, Fathletes, listeners, boys, girls,
NBs, non-binaries.
Non-binaries. I was looking for that second word.
Yeah, boys, girls, and NBs, baby.
NBs. I'm not into that. I'm not gonna.
It's okay.
Let's redo this.
Cut. And George is canceled. All right.
Welcome to another episode of Fathletics. Today we're here to talk about a very, very recent, as of last night, recording this fight, UFC 257.
Yeah.
But before we get to the main card, there was some drama. Stephen Roth, why don't you walk us through what most of the West Coast went through trying to view this fight?
Well,
what happened to you?
I was, from personal experience, I wanted to murder somebody. I wanted to go to ESPN headquarters and smash some faces in. Yeah, the app was crashing. If you purchased the UFC card and you go to click on it, it would say not available. It'd say that this card is not available. Or what was happening to me, I was getting this weird thing. It said, like, your token subscription is not allowing you to whatever. And I was like, I don't know what that fucking means. Like, I could see it on my phone, but if I went to cast it to my TV through my Chromecast, it would go, nope, no idea what you're talking about. And it worked fine for the prelims. And I was like, what's going on? And I went to Twitter, which is where you always go when things go wrong. You're like, what?
Fuck down detector.
Yeah.
I go straight to Twitter.
Straight to Twitter. And it affected only the West Coast. And everybody that was on my timeline was like, what the fuck? Can't get it to work. It's not working on PlayStation, not working on the Xbox, not working on the app, not working on the TV. Nowhere was it working. And so I had to go to an illegal stream, like everybody. I turned my VPN on so that my parents wouldn't get a phone call from the internet provider. And I found an illegal stream and mirrored it to the TV and watched it that way for a bit. And then I would check in after each fight to see if it was back and running. And it wasn't until after the second fight that it was up and running.
Yeah.
And but I mean, you pay $70 for a card and you expect to get what you paid for.
Well, I mean, you're also paying for ESPN Plus.
Yeah. So the whole thing was like, for the past 2 weeks, Dana has been like, I'm cracking down on illegal streams. You can only get it through ESPN Plus. It's the only way you're going to watch it. Nope, because that's where I want to watch it from, and it's down. Yeah. So where do you expect me to go? And I'm like, if I paid for it and I'm not getting it, I'm going to watch it illegally.
For sure. Because
I technically paid for it, and I should technically be allowed to view it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's what I did.
I think the West Coast should get refunds.
Yeah.
Because I did not get the product that I asked for.
Yeah. Or even just a partial one. Like, yeah, okay, the card's $70. I missed the first two fights. Give me $25.
Yeah. Give me a credit. Give me 3 months of ESPN Plus for free or something. But
yeah, give me the next one for free. The next card, I get it for free.
You know what's upsetting is that the UFC is so close to a monopoly that they don't have to.
No, they don't have to do anything. They don't even have to address it. Dana was like, oh, well, they fixed it. Okay. It was still down. I still missed some fights.
Yeah.
But they don't even address it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, think about that's a big thing if there were any West Coast fighters fighting on that card at that time.
Imagine if it went down in Ireland.
Yeah. That would be some shit.
That would be ridiculous. They would have burned the country to the ground.
Would have just smelled like burnt fucking alcohol.
Just whiskey everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was a little upsetting, and I was getting frustrated. My mom was like, "Well, is it our internet? Is it this?" And I was like, "No, it's the app." And then they were like, "Well, maybe it's the TV." And I'm like, "No, it's the app." And they're like, "Well, what if we get another TV?" I'm like, "No, it's the app, and there's nothing I can do about that."
Yeah.
So
I felt equally as helpless.
Yeah.
And from a paid service, and apparently this isn't the first time this has happened.
I've never had it happen to me personally, but it sucks if it's happened to somebody else.
Yeah, on Twitter they said that this is the second or third time that something like this has happened. Maybe not the beginning, but in the middle, like it just drops out.
I did have stream lag problems that weren't happening during the prelims, so I don't know if it's a server thing where there were so many people watching it that the server starts lagging out, which is what you get with, like, if you're on Twitch and a streamer has like 1 million viewers, all of a sudden the stream starts lagging because so many people are watching and trying to view it. But I mean, it was just frustrating either way, and it ruined the card a little bit for me. I was like kind of sad. I was frustrated. It took me a while to not be frustrated. And then when it started lagging really bad in the Connor fight. Like every couple of seconds it would skip, and then I was like, this is frustrating.
Yeah,
So.
Unacceptable, I would say. And from like a martial artist perspective, like on principle, they should get some kind of thing because they agreed to fight on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And they agreed to get as many eyes as possible, and arguably one of the largest demographics.
It was the third highest pay-per-view they've ever had.
What was number 2?
Number 2, I believe, is Usman versus Masvidal.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then number 1 was Stephen Roth versus George Ferido.
Yeah.
So
we crushed that thing, dude.
I mean, if you guys missed it, you missed out.
Yeah. George TKO'd me in the fourth round.
It was a great fit. And I didn't even touch him with any of my appendages.
No. He just looked at me and I got real scared. He has a Hawaiian fire.
George used Lear, and it was super effective.
My defenses were completely destroyed.
Can we talk about why their defensive moves exist in the Pokemon games?
Yeah, I mean, because I've used defensive moves, and all it's ever done is have me lose hit points before I can even do anything. It's like, well, now I've lost 60 hit points because I used some shit to lower someone's defense, and now when I hit them, it hasn't done much more. It's done like 10% more damage. But
yeah. Or it didn't change the stat at all.
Yeah. Or they're like, that wasn't effective. Oh, cool. They're not affected by Lear. Didn't know that.
I can't just stare at him from a distance.
Yeah.
I missed.
No. I never do any kind of modifying moves. I don't do attack.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that stuff. I'm just going to hit you.
You know where those make sense? Those defensive, those support moves, I would say, is in like party games of like, Dragon Quest and shit. But I don't know why.
When we're in a back and forth system, I was like, well, you're going to hit me and I'm going to be down already.
I don't know why Pokemon doesn't let you do like party battles. You have 6 Pokemon.
Didn't they used to have a 2v2v2 thing?
I mean, there are 2v2 battles.
Yeah.
But they're not prevalent.
No.
They're not. It's not like a feature like the Gigantamax Pokemon. It's a feature, but it's not.
I'd like to have all 6 out at once.
Yeah, right?
That'd be great.
And develop like a party strategy. I think
or
that
even
would
just
be more
3v3,
fun.
so we can be 6 in total. Just a 3v3 Pokemon battle. That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, I completely agree. Fucking fighting games do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, you had 2 characters last one? You're going to get 3 this time.
The Final Fantasy series, the Chrono Trigger, it was all 3v3, and you had to work around, like, you would chain moves. You would have, like, combos that 2 characters could use together, so you got, like, an extra, like, dope move. Shit was sick.
Makes me want to play shit like Fire Emblem.
Dude, I just want to play Chrono Trigger again. God,
I was
what a good
never
game.
big on that one.
Yeah, it's such a good game. It was ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time.
Maybe that's why I'm
multiple
not a hipster.
endings, choices you made affected the ending of the game. It was good shit for a fucking Square Enix game.
They're pretty good. Pretty good.
Well, also, I think that I don't know if you know this about Chrono Trigger, but all of the artwork and stuff was done by Akira Toriyama.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so all the characters look like Dragon Ball Z
I
characters.
hate watching him draw again because he just does it in Sharpie. He's done it so many times. Like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
What a flex.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna just freehand Goku. How do you want him to pose like this?
Yeah.
Got it.
If you look at Chrono Trigger, and if you look at the main character Chrono, if you look at him, he just looks like Goku with red hair. He's just a small Goku with red hair.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Just recycle. Why not? That's Pixar does it.
It's
Why
just
not?
his style. It's that kind of the way the hair looks and the way it sticks out and it's pointy and stuff. That's just his style.
Oh, I have to redact some of my My Hero Academia praises that I spoke about last episode.
Oh, has it ruined you?
Not ruined, but it's gotten to a point where most like power fantasies that use the time skip model, it's got to the point where it's too long of a time skip.
Okay.
Like it's a lot of retroactively writing things that you should have just showed us.
Yeah.
I want to see that shit.
Yeah. I just got I was packing up stuff from my old house, and so I found the first season of My Hero Academia on DVD.
Are you telling the listeners that you moved?
Yeah, I moved.
What address?
3534. Now I moved, and I was there was some stuff, and I was like, I love this first season. I should rewatch it. It was a good first season.
It is good. Second's cool too. Second's very interesting, but it's not that it's predictable, but what makes it charming of the drawback to especially the One for All kind of goes away later on because of the time skip.
Yeah. What sucks is that like most of the best animes in the world, that first season is so hard to top. You're just like, it's so good. Like I haven't watched Attack on Titan in a while, but that first season sticks out to me. So like it's so deep in my mind. It's such a great first season, and it's hard to. It's hard. I don't remember an anime where the second season made me more excited than the first.
You know who did it well, and I'm kind of sad that this is a thing because it's so mainstream. Is Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
Like Obviously, it's the same formula every time.
But the sagas get better.
Yeah, the sagas get deeper, and there's more lore. And yes, it's a power fantasy, and yes, they have time skips, but constantly and consistently, like have you seen Super?
I know we talked about this before. I haven't seen Super.
Dude. Not a spoiler because it's like the first episode, and so like Frieza's a badass.
Yeah,
and he is by far the strongest character in the universe because he was like, oh, I just have to train for 2 weeks, and then he dusts basically everybody. Like Goku has to go super, 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 super Saiyan to beat Frieza, and Frieza's like, yeah, I just trained for like a month. He's like John Jones.
Wow. He's like, oh, so if I put time and effort into this, I could actually be better?
Yeah.
Oh, so
he was just naturally fucking
gifted.
people up.
Yeah.
He's like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
But that's what I liked about the Dragon Ball saga is that there's talent and there's skill, but they're equal sometimes. Whereas
you know where we really saw that was yesterday with Dustin Poirier.
I know. What a great lineup. Well, let's start at the beginning of the card that I didn't see.
Yeah.
Did you see or hear anything about? Because I was so upset that I missed those fights. I didn't even look up the highlights.
I caught the Amanda Hebus fight, which I believe is what started the card. I'm almost certain it was the start.
I believe so.
It was Amanda Hebus versus I can't remember her name, something Rodriguez. And first round, Amanda Hebus looked great. She was controlling the back, and she was looking good on the feet. Got a good takedown, control for the first round. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, Amanda Hebus. Told you she's going to kick this girl's ass. And then she got knocked out second round. Got hit with, I think it was a straight right that clocked her. Clocked her big time on the chin. She was rocked. She, dropped to the ground. The girl gets on top of her. And then Herb Dean, stands over both of them where he looks like he's going to pull her off. He almost looks like he touched her. So, and I think she noticed Herb Dean got really, 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 really close. So she got up like she thought the fight was over. And then Amanda Hebus got up kind of wobbly with the hands in her air. And she looks at Herb Dean. And Herb Dean looks at her. And then he goes, well, the fight's still going. And the chick comes back. And she's like, oh, okay. And then clocks her again one more time. And then Herb Dean's like, okay, this fight's over. So second round, Hebus lost. She was still smiling through it. She was still happy.
Yeah.
Listen, you're in the top 10 of the women's division in that class, which I think it was 115. They might have been 125. But, to even get in the top 10 of the UFC, the women's fights, the women's division, you're going to be a banger. So, and those can go either way. And Amanda Hebus is not overhyped like some people might have said that she was because she lost. I still think she's just as good. She got cracked, and that happens to anybody. And she looked good in that first round. So, anything is possible with chicks that are high level, and especially Brazilians. They know how to bang. And attractive. Dude, Brazilians know how to bang, dude.
There's nothing else to do.
Oh my God, do they know how to bang?
You can kick some leather around the streets, or you can fight in the alleys.
Yeah. So I wasn't I wasn't really that surprised. I was a little sad. Glad I didn't put money on it, but yeah. So Amanda, he was lost, and then the second fight was Dirty Sanchez, I think is his name. El Dirty Sanchez, something. Michael Sanchez, I think his name. Something like that.
Pick a new name, bro.
Yeah, I think he's an Ultimate Fighter winner. And versus Antonio Carlos Jr., who is also an Ultimate Fighter winner. And it was a whatever fight. It was it was okay. This is all right. And then I think Sanchez lost. He got put on Squirrel Street. And then what was the fight after that?
I don't know if it was just the ESPN debacle, but I felt like overall the card was okay.
Yeah, and someone had said this. They were like, listen, the only reason this is so high is because Conor McGregor's on it. This card has no one else that's really that great about it, the main card. Because someone was like, you got two female fighters who aren't even in the top 5 who are fighting for close positions, and you got a couple guys from Tough. And then you got Michael Chandler, who's never fought in the UFC, versus a number 6 ranked guy. The only fight that's really, really, really dope and exciting is the Conor McGregor fight. All these other fights don't really matter. This isn't a banger card, which is what we're going to be getting. I think in March is a 3 title fight card.
Yeah,
that's
I saw that.
Nuts. So it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't like the Usman Burns fight or the TJ the Cejudo and Cody Garbrandt and Sean O'Malley. That card was wild. So there's so many cards that have been better than this, where the only real big fight was Conor on it, and so that's why it didn't really matter all that much with all these other fights. Yeah, Antonio Carlos Jr. Who knows that guy? How many people you go up to?
Nope.
You know Antonio Carlos Jr.
Yeah, who's got a poster of him?
Shoeface? Do I know Shoeface? Yeah, I know Shoeface. No, they know. Nobody knows Shoeface. Which is a fucking weird ass nickname. Cool. And then I think the fight after that was JoJo Calderwood versus Jessica Ai, and Jessica Ai just doesn't look good anymore. She doesn't fight well.
No, she doesn't. And I think I wouldn't say JoJo looked good either.
No, she's very flat-footed.
Flat, but I mean, I think it was like you said. It was two ladies fighting for a spot.
Yeah.
And
number 6 and number 7.
Yeah, they were slugging it out for sure.
Yeah.
They both showed a lot of heart, but
they
it was
wanted to
messy.
They were saying a couple months ago, Calderwood was supposed to fight Valentina, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, that's supposed to fight Valentina. You need 3 more years.
Yeah, I don't like that she thinks she's ready for a title shot. Like,
no, if you can't head kick Jessica I into oblivion like Valentina Shevchenko did, you don't deserve to fight Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe JoJo doesn't want it anymore. Yeah, maybe she's not as hungry.
No, I mean she looked okay, but while I was watching her, I was like, it's just not.
She also
There's so many levels.
She
below.
also looked okay in her season of The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like she was a standout, but she was very much so like a Michael Bisping type of like she'll stand there and she'll bang with you.
It's so hard to get excited for a Valentina fight these days, because she just looks so good. Like the last time I was really excited was when she fought Joanna, and I was like, that was a good fight because Joanna's really good. So other than that, like anytime there's like a girl,
where is Joanna these days?
She didn't she just lose a fight or win a fight against somebody?
See exactly. Nobody fucking knows.
Yeah,
What's she doing?
fought
Instagram model?
She fought against Wali Zhang in the year, and then she lost a close fight. And
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was when her head looked like an alien when she got the shit.
Oh, I do
her
remember that
forehead
picture.
was all, yeah. She hasn't fought since then.
I mean, yeah, that's fucking TBI if I've
Yeah,
ever seen
dude.
it.
Fuck, dude.
But I mean, JoJo took the win.
It was funny that my dad called it. He goes, after the thing, he goes, bet's going to be 230-27s and a 29-28. And that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And there's always one judge that sees
But
it
again,
weird.
I wasn't high. Like I was cool. I was like, I finally got the fight once they started fighting.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see the first two. I
Yep,
was a little
same.
upset already, and now I'm watching it. But it's like I don't even want.
I watched 2 illegal stream fights, and then I checked back in after the Carlos Jr. fight, and then it was working, so I watched the Calderwood fight. And then I was like, okay, now we're getting to some meat. We're gonna get Hooker and Chandler. And I don't know if you noticed it, but Dan Hooker looked lost when he was in there.
Yeah, I don't know, lost or if like he'd never watched tape or something of him. It's like, do you don't know what this kid's gonna do to you right now?
He's gonna bum rush you and trying to hit you in the head.
yeah. Lost is a good one. It definitely
he didn't
out
look,
of place for sure.
Like he didn't look like how he did against Poirier. He just looked like he wasn't ready. And Dustin had said it too. He was like, this is the hardest camp I've ever had because he goes, it's not Fight Island, it's Fight Prison. You go there, it's a fight hotel. You're there for 2 weeks. He goes, all I had was 14 days to think about this fight nonstop. I had nothing else to do. I can't leave past the training room. I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck in my hotel room. I have to hear supercars driving around outside. It's driving me insane. He's like, I wanted to jump out the balcony the day before the fight because it's all I could hear. He was like, this is the worst experience I've ever had before a fight. And so I don't know if that for Dan Hooker it's even harder because he's from New Zealand. He has to do a longer quarantine to get out and to get back in. So he just looked like he wasn't motivated. He looked sad. And he took his gloves off at the end. He threw his gloves in the octagon, which is like the classic sign of retirement. So I don't know if this camp just fucking ruined him and he just wasn't in it. But Michael Chandler came to fucking play.
Do you think Dan Hooker slept on Michael Chandler?
I think if you put anyone in that fight, they would have beat Dan Hooker that night. I don't think Dan Hooker was in that fight.
Dan Hooker, where you at? I'll fight you, bro.
I told Izzy on this because Izzy was hyping up Dan. I was like, yo, Izzy, get your boy. Like something's wrong with him. Like he didn't look good. He was wide eyed and like just kept his hand out, was keeping distance. It wasn't really throwing anything. And then Chandler just threw a big right hand, knocked him out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, great opening performance from Michael Chandler. What a better way. And I watched a highlight video like 2 days ago because I was like, I got to at least see what this dude. And he was an undefeated champion. He had beaten out Eddie Alvarez for the belt, then lost the belt to Eddie Alvarez, and then lost a couple times. He had like 3 losses in a row, 2 split decisions and 1 TKO. So he's been down, and then he came back, got the belt, lost it, got it again, then beat Benson Henderson in his last fight in Bellator. So I had seen his highlights. I knew he had really good takedowns, and he was really good at taking you down, getting your back, and choking you out, but he also had crazy power in his hands. So he does just move forward, and that's what he did to Dan. He just moved forward, and he had a Mike Tyson type thing where he does that duck down when he's coming in, and he ducked down, and he threw that right hand over and just clocked Dan Hooker. So It was beautiful to see, and he did that crazy ass backflip. Why do fighters keep doing backflips, man?
Dude.
You're gonna blow out everything.
Yeah, they're like, hey, if you break something, that's still out of fight, bro.
Yeah, your fight was over.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Just because it happened in the octagon, the fight was over.
I bet there's a stipulation in their contract that says that no acrobatics off the cage.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, fuck it, I just want to fight.
It's because Gaethje does it, so they think they can do it.
Yeah. I like GSP was like, I'll just do a backflip in the ring.
Yeah, do it. Or Stephen Thompson does like a front flip.
Fucking crazy.
Or who was it? No, was it Sage Northcutt used to do the front flip.
That dude's
standing
weird.
front flip.
That dude's too athletic. Like, what did you grow that man out of?
I mean, he was just a karate kid. He loved karate, and then he's not very good. He got his shit wrecked in ONE FC.
Yeah.
So
that's what I want to say. I was pondering about this on the way here. That I guess this is more of a question / I'll think out loud. Do you think that UFC fighters in general sleep on fighters in other organizations?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And do you think that that's like pre-COVID? I think that's fine.
Yeah,
like that is the cream of the crop. No one disagrees. But now where MMA is at now, I think all the organizations are kind of at a level footing where it's like, yeah, you're a UFC fighter, but just because he's from Bellator doesn't mean he's not going to smash your shit into next week.
Yeah, I think it's also I think if you're a young up-and-coming fighter in today's MMA world where you have to kind of train from all angles, where you have to be good at everything to even be considered a great fighter these days, where back in the day you could just be a specialist. With today's MMA fighters, if you're coming out of ONE FC or if you're coming out of Bellator and you're a 25-year-old guy, although I think Michael Chandler's 32, but if you're coming out of those kind of places and you're a well-rounded fighter, you can fight any of the top talent in the UFC if you're really that good, if you're really that well-rounded. So I do think a lot of the UFC guys sleep on these other divisions and other organizations because they think they're the cream of the crop. If you're in the UFC, you're the best of the best. But there's some guys in the top 5 in Bellator and the top 5 of ONE FC, and maybe not so much Cage Warriors. There's a couple there, but like there's guys that you should definitely keep your eye on that are going to be the next Israel Adesanya's. These guys have been waiting for a long time to come to the UFC,
right? Because
they might know maybe I'm really, really good and I can fight the UFC talent, but I want to smash the UFC talent. I don't want to just look like a guy who can barely win. I want to obliterate. So I think I don't know if Dan was sleeping on. I
think it was just a rough month.
I think it was a really rough month.
But on the flip side of that, you kind of know that going in. You know this. Yeah. I don't think they were like, "Oh, BT Dub, you got to quarantine." Like obviously you're gonna have to quarantine.
Yeah, this is his second fight during quarantines.
Yeah,
but I just think that it probably really, really weighs heavy on you when you know that even if you win this fight, it's 24 more days of not being able to see your kid. It's kind of tough. I think that really weighs heavy on a lot of these guys.
Maybe he should have been a worse parent, and maybe it's easier if you don't want to see your kid.
Yeah, it might be, or if you have the money to bring them with you, like Connor and Dustin did, where they could bring their families with them.
I read somewhere that someone got 86 from the card or an underfight because someone
Yes, I know the story about this.
Please tell me.
Okay, this was Otman Adzir, I think is how you pronounce his name. Otman Azitir, who was a 14-0 undefeated UFC fighter. He looked great. He was a 155er, I believe. And him and his team decided to cut their wristbands off, give them to someone outside of the COVID bubble. That person went into the hotel, went into a room, got out of the room, climbed 4 stories on a balcony, went into another room and dropped off a bag, changed his clothes, and as he was leaving was caught by security. And that guy is under investigation, has been held by Abu Dhabi police.
What's in the bag?
Nobody knows what's in the bag. Everybody keeps asking what's in the bag, what's in the bag. And Dana's like, I don't know what's in the bag. But yeah, that guy's
cool. Let's speculate. What?
Probably a bomb. I don't know. It's in the United Arab Emirates, whatever it's called, United Arab Emirates, UAE. Yeah, it could have been a fucking bomb. I don't know. Maybe it could have been snacks for his fighter. He was like, I need you to sneak these in for me.
How pissed off would you be if it was just like a bag full of like Quest cookies and keto?
I bet it was filled with dildos, dude. I bet he didn't want anybody to know that he was secretly gay because he's in the United Arab Emirates. Doesn't want anybody. They're gonna fucking kill me if they see me bring in my baby daddy and his fucking dildos.
I mean,
he's got a bag full of double-sided dildos in there.
Where's this guy from?
I don't know, some country with a red flag and a star on it, dude.
Well, I mean, that's part of my point then is that the only time you see this kind of literal gymnastics is when you're trying to dodge something.
Yeah.
And you're trying to be fishy. I saw Icarus.
Yeah.
I know that they make fucking false rooms.
Yeah, he could have been like, it could have been something to help him cut weight. I don't know. But like, I don't know what this guy's from.
They're like, yo, we got fresh.
Where are you from if your name is Atman Azitir?
Like,
Where could you fucking be from? I don't know.
I literally have a computer in front of me and we're just fucking
speculating. He's from some country where his flag is red and there's a gold star on it.
How do you spell his name?
Ottmanazzitar, I believe. Azitar.
Morocco.
Where the fuck is Morocco?
Africa.
Oh, well, there you go.
Western Africa.
Sure. Fucking, I don't know.
I bet it was some next level, like when you open the bag, it glows. It glows green, and they're like, "This is the shit they put in the Predator."
Yeah,
and he's like, "Yeah, how do you think I got my fucking undefeated record?"
Yeah, it was probably something super shady, or it's like an inside hit job. I don't fucking know, but it's dumb either way. And now he's cut from the UFC. He's never gonna fight for them ever again.
That's fucking hella sketch.
Yeah.
What if?
I still think it's double-sided dildos.
He's just like, that's just
big
my
old
pastime.
bag of dildos, dude.
They're sanitized.
He's like, it's 14 days alone. Give me all the porn. It's just a big old bag full of lotion.
What if it's not a bag full of double-sided dildos? It's a double-sided dildo. It's just giant. It's just like carrying a fire hydrant.
It's a midget. It's a person with no arms, no legs, just a body that you can fuck. It's just a paraplegic fuck doll. And then he just gets to keep that in his
somebody
room.
walks in and he's like, I'm doing jujitsu.
Yeah, yes.
Have you done jujitsu on one of those dummies?
They're fucking weird, man.
It's odd, right?
It's real awkward. It's because a part of you is like, what if this thing just started choking me?
Oh, what a great idea.
Just dress up as a dummy.
Fuck yeah. We should do that to Aaron Chase.
Oh.
He wants to learn jujitsu all the time. Just be like, all right, grab this, and then just have
it starts going.
Just traumatize the fuck out of him.
Yeah. Have him play with one for just for a little bit, like get like a real one, see what it looks like, and then we'll have someone that looks just like it. And right as he sits down to go on it, you just fucking.
What's great is we could work out this whole prank and he wouldn't hear it. He
doesn't know about the show. No.
Oh, that's gonna go in the back of my mind for a future prank. I'm gonna ruin someone's life.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. But anyways,
get a leg lock in.
Oh my god, just tear apart.
Surprise!
Aaron.
It's John Danaher.
Why ignore 50% of the human body?
Every time I hear someone hear someone say John Danaher, I hear it as George St. Pierre.
Yeah,
John Danaher.
Yeah, dude, the guy's a genius, man. He really is.
He's such a weird.
He is so weird. Every single one of his Instagram posts is a fucking book.
Yeah,
he just
and
paragraph
obviously
of
I'll read
paragraphs. Yeah, because it's really you're like, wow, so much intellect in this.
It's like reading a modern day Musashi.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
People just don't talk like that anymore, man. And he's got something else in him.
And they don't make those broad connections and things where I think everything fucking hippy dippy, but everything is connected.
Yeah,
like everything has an energy that you
as
can
one thing is all
tag
things.
on.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's what I enjoy about John Danaher. But I want him to like.
Chill.
Wear a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Stop wearing your.
He goes out
gi
everywhere with gi pants and a shirt on, like one of those gi. Like he's in full gi attire everywhere he goes, and it's like, dude, you don't have to.
He's like a real life Mortal Kombat fighter. He's like, you have to be ready at any point.
I can't have a collar on. Are you kidding me? They could come out me from any direction. He probably thinks. I wonder if he's one of those guys where he's like, I'm such a badass that people know who I am, and anywhere I go, someone might challenge me to a fight, and I have to be ready. Like he's like Baki in the streets.
Yeah. What if there is a super secret underground where all the masters?
Yeah.
That's why they're all fucking weird. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, because they're all of those top level, like Musashi level guys where they're just always ready to go. And there might be some kind of weird, they signed a waiver. And
it's
at
like
any
some
moment,
skull
it can
and
happen.
bones shit.
Yeah, and John Danaher is always ready.
Yeah.
Even on the Rogan podcast.
He's
some
probably
dude
the
just
champ.
comes in, ties him up.
He's probably thinking about how to strangle Joe the whole
Yeah.
time. He's like, all right, if he attacks me, I'm going to grab this wire.
Yeah. I don't even need this desk. This desk, it doesn't even exist between me and him. I will go under or over the desk. I can do either.
I attack you from all dimensions.
Yeah. Jamie won't even have time to fucking react. He'll be dead before he.
Yeah. That's scary. I heard a story about a jiu-jitsu black belt. He was like a sensei at one of the gyms basically, and he was a little off his rocker, but a legit black belt, and that's scary.
Yeah, Eddie Bravo.
But like this dude would carry like a knife around his neck when we know he doesn't need it, and like he was a.
Yeah, like if Eddie Bravo was walking around with a fucking Glock, he'd be like, "You don't need that." And you're like, yeah, I do. He's like, "Yeah, I do." The aliens.
But it's scary to think that guy now is a loaded weapon, and he might not be able to control it. Like,
he just starts choking people out.
Yeah.
He just didn't line at target. Something snaps, and he just starts taking out the cashier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing
What are you gonna
a
do?
lot of people can do.
What are you gonna do? 10 dudes on that guy. He kills every single one of them.
Basically.
Just John Wick's a whole fucking target.
That's scary.
It is a little scary.
That's why I stay inside.
Yeah, I need to go outside. There's bears out there. Oh.
Bears and other people who want to fight.
I keep staring at your flowers because I know that I don't have to eat these anymore.
Yeah. Aren't you fucking glad? I mean, they kind of wilted. I'm sure there was a crunch to them. It'd probably be like a chlorophyll or chloroform bacon.
Dude,
Chlorophyll?
The first 30 seconds of the Conor fight, he cracked him with the left hand. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
I'm going to eat those flowers.
There was a couple good connections.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to eat those fucking flowers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could talk about that now because we went through the whole card because it was mediocre.
Yeah, very mediocre. Very mediocre.
I think Conor did a really good job at establishing his dominance and trying to control the center and imposing his will. Unfortunately, Dustin stood there and was like, cool, what else you got?
Yeah. Dustin showed that he's a little more durable now at 155. He did say in the press conference that one of those left hands really hurt him, and he was like, if he had pressured me and hit me with another one, I probably would have been in really, really, really big trouble. I would have been out probably. Yeah. So he definitely hit him with a good left hand, and he hit him with one right hand, which reminded me of the Eddie Alvarez fight where he clipped him over the top of the left and then hit him with a quick right. It looked almost just like that, the same sequence of this kind of like short uppercut right hand, and yeah, I mean, Conor looked good. He looked fast. He was doing those shoulder strikes again in the clinch. That was cool. His are more like Dustin was throwing his like vertically or like horizontally, but
his
Conor's
came in like a looping uppercut.
Yeah, his were coming up from the bottom and then coming up to the top, and those were really interesting. They looked like they fucking hurt. They really did.
Dustin should have turned his head around and make him strike the back of his head.
Yeah, fucking.
I thought that tactically though Dustin was just superior. I liked his very early takedown.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting that.
For no reason, and it was good because I'm sure, we know Conor drilled takedown defense for a year to
since the
fight
Khabib fight. Yeah.
Like he had to.
Yeah. And
to put that in his head, I think, is part of the reason why Conor didn't follow up with so many of his strikes because he's like, he took me down.
Yeah.
It's like, that's something to think. Even if he doesn't take him down ever again, that's in his head.
It's good. A takedown is always good, especially early because it reminds you, like, oh yeah, this is a mixed martial arts fight. We're not just boxing. Yeah. We're not just kickboxing. He could take me down at any moment. Yeah. And it was a really good move because it came out of nowhere. And Conor did a good job to get back up, get to the fence, and they did the little exchange. But Dustin started connecting with those leg kicks early. And that's where everything changed for Conor.
And you knew it was changing too because then Conor started catching those kicks.
Yes.
He was like, I can't take any more of these, but I can't check it because my leg feels like fucking lead.
Yeah. There was twice. He caught it twice, and he would catch him after the kick, which is, it's already done its damage at that point. But you could see it in the way he was stepping immediately after. I think in the beginning of the second round, he got hit with a real clean one, and his leg gave out for a second. And I was wondering if he was going to switch stances because we've never seen Conor switch to an orthodox stance in a fight from leg kicks. But man, like it was just it's high level stuff because as a guy that's striking with Conor, he's going to move in, he's going to move out, and he's very good in his movement. So what better way to do that than to take out his legs?
Yeah, and take that pop out of his punches too.
Yeah, because now he can't throw as hard. He's still throwing. Yeah, he can't sit with it, and now every step he takes is going to be bad, and he might hurt his other leg because he can't put all the front pressure on the front leg. Yeah, man, it's so beautiful. I've rewatched the fight like 4 times already since it happened.
I think I don't know if it was intentional, if that was part of their game plan, but I really, as soon as Dustin took him down, I was like, oh, this is a man with a plan.
Yeah,
because if you have to worry about the takedown, how many takedown did you defend from an unorthodox stance?
Yeah,
probably not as many.
Which
means you're gonna be heavy on that front. Yeah, and that means I can kick that shit all day.
Yeah,
and then.
Paul Felder had said it too. He goes, now that his leg is damaged, he goes, Dustin could go for takedowns because that leg is going to be, you're not going to be able to get out of the way of it as fast. And he could have, if it was going to be, I mean, if your leg is already dead in the second round, it's there's no coming back.
Yeah. Especially, it probably felt fine on his way, and then he sat down and got that minute off. It was like, oh, buddy.
Yeah. Give me some ice on this shit.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that happened with Habib. Habib was getting his leg torn apart, and he was like, well, fuck this. I'm going to take it to the ground. I don't want to get kicked in the leg anymore. It sucks. And so, but Conor's not the guy that's going to take you down.
No.
He's going to try
Not from that stance either.
No, not from that stance. And so he's just going to be the guy who's like, I can grit it out. He said that in the post-fight. He was like, I just thought I could tough it out, and I couldn't.
Yeah, your body says otherwise.
Yeah.
It's funny to for a listener who's never taken a leg kick, let me tell you, your leg just shuts off.
Yeah, so no bueno, dude. Fucking sucks,
An
man.
unconditioned leg taking a strike, your leg is off.
Yeah.
There's an off button and it is off. And
Yeah.
all conditioning does is it turns up the amount of times you can get kicked before it's again off.
Yeah. and Conor kind of mentioned that. He goes, if you're out of the game and you have this inactivity and guys are now throwing these lower calf kicks, you kind of become used to it in fights because you're training with it. You're getting hit in training with it. Now you're ready to take it in a fight. And even the ones that he thought he checked, the foot was still wrapping around and hitting the calf. And Dustin mentioned it. He goes, if his checks were off just by a couple inches, and if they were a couple more inches outward, I would have been the one taking the damage. But he just wasn't checking them well enough. He could try, but he just wasn't ready for it. And if it's something you're not ready for, you're not prepared for, which is so weird because they're being talked about so often these days. Everyone's talking about the low calf kick. It's being used way more exponentially now than it was 3 to 5 years ago. So you would think a guy like Conor, who should be on the forefront of what is happening in the UFC and what's happening in mixed martial arts, you would think a guy like John Kavanaugh, his coach, who is an amazing coach, would recognize, hey, Dustin might use these lower calf kicks because he knows that he has to take out your base because your movement is what makes you you. For Conor to not even think about learning to defend that or trying to do something to stay away and avoid the kicks is kind of surprising. He has nothing that he can say as an excuse. Like when he lost to Habib, he can go, well, it's all the fame and the money. When he lost to Nate Diaz, it was like, well, it was hard to manage this new weight. I never fought at 170 before. But there's no excuse because all of the interviews were, I'm so good at 155. Like, I'm better than I've ever been in my entire life. I can beat anybody now. I'm so quick. I'm so snappy. Like, I'm a real lightweight now. I'm training harder than I've ever trained ever before in my life. And this is the best version of me there is. And Dustin Poirier knocked that out in the second round. So what are you going to say? Where do you stand now in the 155 division? Because you can't beat the top talent. What do you do?
That Khabib definitely not.
It's never happened. If I'm Dana looked so sad at the press conference. He was like, Khabib texted me. He was like, Dana, be honest with yourself. I'm levels above these guys. You can't sell Khabib this rematch. He just lost.
Yeah.
If I'm Khabib, I'm just calling it quits. Because, what? Michael Chandler? You want to fight Michael Chandler? He beat a number 6 guy. Okay. That's not enough for Khabib to be like, I'm going to come back.
Not right now either. And,
and even looking at Dustin, it goes, yeah, well, he did that to Conor, but I beat Conor and I beat Dustin. Yep. So what's the point?
Yeah.
The only fight that even kind of looks fun was what Khabib mentioned is Charles Oliveira because of how good he looked against Tony Ferguson. So I would watch that. But would the rest of the world watch that?
Yeah. Would Khabib want to go through a month of quarantine, to do that again?
Yeah.
I mean, he's at the top. What else is there?
What else is there?
Fucking GSP that shit. I'm sure GSP left because of other reasons, but I mean,
everybody juicing.
Yeah, you're there. You know.
Yeah, I don't see Khabib coming back, and you know what?
Which is good.
29-0. He did everything.
Yeah.
He beat all the top guys.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier,
down
Conor
the
McGregor.
line.
All of them done.
You know who's got
Rafael Dos Anjos.
You know who's got a better hit list now though, or the same kind of hit list?
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier. Yep.
And so good.
Yeah.
Khabib, you're done. We don't have to keep talking. I don't like that we keep talking about him because clearly part of him doesn't want to do.
Doesn't want to do it anymore.
And I don't want that Khabib.
Yeah, I want a Khabib who wants to smash, and if he doesn't want to smash, no smash.
That's fine.
Care.
That's fine. Move on.
Because
Dustin looked
and he said
great.
so. He even said so. He goes, I won't hold up the division. If there's nothing there for me, I'll give up the belt. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why Dana's so sad because he was like, this was trending bigger than the first Khabib Conor. And he was on Dana White's Looking for a Fight. He was like, this is trending bigger than when you and Conor fought. Imagine what the rematch could do. Yeah, well, what about it now? Because your boy got smashed.
Yeah, he did. He did. The memes were cracking me the fuck up.
Yeah, him sleeping.
Yeah, on Netflix. Are you still watching? It's fucking great, dude.
Out, dude.
This is 10 minutes in, and you guys are
no one's ever done that to Conor. This is the first time it's ever happened that he's been TKO'd.
That was a good game plan. That was a solid impressive execution of a game plan.
And when he saw him hurt, he went for the kill.
Yeah.
He just started landing punches.
Yeah,
and
he's
that,
like, oh, okay, let's turn this shit on.
Like, when Conor, it looked like he was going to change level, and Dustin hit him with that right hand and just put him on his ass, that right hand is so clean. Like, every time I watch it, a punch that sits a guy down, that stops him in his tracks like that when they're coming forward, because now you've got their forward momentum and your punch. Oh my God, it's a beautiful picture.
I bet it makes a great sound
It
when
does.
you're right there.
When I rewatch it, you can hear him when he hits it, and that's the one where everybody goes, "Oh!" because it's the one that sat him down.
You got to play that Mario sound when,
Yeah.
when
It's like in Mike Tyson's Punch Out, where you punch the charging bull and he does that ooh, and he like pulls back. It was one of those, man. He just cracked him right in the face. Dude.
Dustin looked great.
He looked so good.
I think he met exceeded everyone's expectations, and I feel like most of the general public, like maybe not public, the people, because I'm not in the know, but I understand what's going on. I felt that Dustin was going to win. He's just in a better place. He's sharper. Conor's good. Don't get me wrong, but
Conor always has that chance because he is this mystical kind of man where he kind of just does anything he wants to, and he makes it and he pulls it off. But there was something in my mind. I just knew that Dustin is the better fighter. He's the more well-rounded. He's been in there more often. He's got way more fight time. He's been in the 155 division longer, and he's been destroying. Besides Habib, has been destroying everybody he's been up against and making them look like amateurs. He just looked like the better fighter. And I was telling that to everybody. My dad was like, Conor's going to win. And I was like, I told him the odds are ridiculous that they're counting out Dustin so much because this is the most like underrated fighter I've ever seen in my life. He is so looked over, so slept on for his talents.
Yeah, and people slept on him. I feel like after Conor knocked him out, and he went on a tear, and no one saw it.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say no one, but a lot less people would have saw it.
Yeah. So when I was seeing those comments of people like, I'm gonna bet today, who should I bet for? And every fight, everyone's saying, put all your money on Conor. It's an easy win. It's an easy W. It's easy money, dude. Put $3,000 on Conor McGregor. Easy money. Not so easy money. And if I was a guy that had money to throw around, those betting odds were ridiculous.
Yeah.
They were so skewed. Like I think at one point he was like it was a plus 275. He closed at a plus 250. It was probably even higher before that. But like, dude, if you had put $1,000 or even $500 down on Dustin Poirier, you were raking it in.
Yeah, I want to know who made those odds too, because if you
all
look
the
at
big
it,
all the big bettors were putting big money on Conor. Some guy put $200,000 on Conor.
Oh yeah, that's dumb though. Because I mean, from a sports perspective, Dustin had more ways to get the W.
Yeah. I think the odds should have been way closer. Like, if anything, it should have been even money. Like, it was so, the fact that it was so skewed.
Can fighters bet on themselves?
I don't know, but if I was Dustin Poirier, I would have gone to my wife or my sister-in-law and been like, put the fucking
I would have Venmo'd my friend, be like, yo, put all of this.
Put all of it.
Trust me.
I have a buddy of mine that does sports betting, and I remember the first time Conor and Habib were fighting, he was like, so I should put it all on Conor, right? And I was like, no, put it all on Habib. What are you talking about? He goes, but Conor's got that left hand. I was like, I don't care. I'm like, take all your money and put it on Habib.
Conor's got that left. Yeah. Habib got a left, a right, knees, feet, head.
Yeah. I was like, put everything on Habib. He didn't. He fucking I think he put a little bit on Habib, but he put most of his money on Conor. And he was like, you were right. I should have put it on Habib. I was like, fine. I know I'm right. That's how I felt about this Dustin thing.
What's next for Dustin?
You fight either Charles Oliveira for the belt, or you fight Conor again.
I think that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's just for the rubber. You know.
Well, what sucks is Dana's like, yeah, they're gonna run it back for the belt.
Oh,
and I'm like,
that's unnecessary.
I don't think Conor deserves the belt.
Definitely not.
Yeah, he's lost 2 fights in a row at 155. Why does he deserve the belt? Because he's Conor McGregor. He can do whatever he wants. But I think I would love to see Conor versus either Tony Ferguson or Justin Gaethje. Because if you want to say that you can fight for the belt, you got to beat somebody in the top 5 because you haven't.
Yeah.
You got to beat somebody in that top 5.
So Poirier Gaethje?
So I think, that'd be a great rematch. I think the fight to make is Poirier Oliveira for the belt, because Charles Oliveira has been sleeping everybody in that division, just wrecking house on everybody. knocking him out, tapping him out, doing whatever he can, and doing what Dustin Poirier did, which is slowly grind your way to the top with no bullshit and not holding back and not giving a fuck about anybody and proving that you're fucking good. And the way he dismantled Tony Ferguson, I think you give it to that guy. So, I think Dustin, and it's a good style because the Bronx likes to throw hands, but he's also a monster on the ground. So I think that's a great fight. I think styles make fights, and I think that's a great fight. And I think Conor versus a guy like Justin Gaethje is a great fight. I think that's a fucking great fight.
I think Conor versus one of the Paul brothers.
whichever one he wants to go with.
Or both. Have it a tournament thing where they both have to fight, and then at the end of the night, winner takes all.
You know what? I love looking at photos of Dylan Dennis talking about how he's sparred with Conor, and Conor looks so great. I'm like, yeah, but you're not great. Like, you're not a great sparring partner. You kind of suck. And if anything,
it's like, okay, blue belt.
Yeah. If anything, all this does is show that you fucking suck at sparring because your boy got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. You know what you're supposed to do now?
Yeah.
Stop sparring.
Stop sparring with
Don't
that guy.
spar. Just don't spar.
Especially not with Dylan Dennis. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sparring with Dylan Dennis will negatively affect your striking easily.
No, you have to do it one way, and it's the Holloway.
Yeah. Just don't do it. You're good enough.
Yeah.
You're good enough. You've been fighting long enough. You don't need to spar.
Play Wii Sports. I don't know.
Yeah. Get a virtual reality boxing thing. You're fine.
How's that not a thing already?
I don't know. Listen, NASCAR drivers got it. They got their virtual racetracks, and they talk about how great that is.
Dude, fighter pilots have that. They have those setups that do full barrel rolls.
Yeah,
and shit.
you don't just put on some VR goggles, put on those fucking the hand slip things, and just punch your way through victory in virtual reality. Yeah.
I mean, they have egg weights.
Yeah.
Do those work?
Yeah, I've heard they're actually pretty great. I've never used them, but I've heard they're great. But so I think there's a lot you can do in that top 5. Everybody was saying, a lot of the ESPN guys were like, you got to do Chandler versus Poirier for the belt. And Poirier's like, I'm not going to fight Michael Chandler for the belt. He goes, I'll fight anyone else but Michael Chandler. He goes, why? He goes, the guy's, he beats a top 6 guy, and now he gets to fight for the belt? He goes, how many fights did it take me to even go for the interim belt? He goes, he's skipping over a bunch of guys.
There was a small chance we wouldn't have seen his pay-per-view on the West Coast.
Yeah. So I agree. I think you give Chandler to a guy like, you can give him the fucking Justin Gaethje. Chandler versus Gaethje, and then Dustin versus Charles Oliveira, and then do Tony versus Conor.
All in the same card.
All in the same card.
All in the same fucking
All in the same card. I would love that.
Yeah. But they have to.
Well, Ben Askren
stretch the taffy.
Ben Askren, and a couple other people were saying do a 4-man battle thing.
Free for all. I agree.
Yeah.
Put them all in.
What is that called when they used to do it in Bellator, which is like their like a bracket type thing where like, okay, it's a 4-man thing. You know, the top 4 guys get to fight each other in like a round robin situation, and then the two guys that win those fights fight for the belt. Like it's a anything's up for grabs kind of opportunity.
Yeah.
Number 1 guy fights number 4 guy, number 2 guy fights number 3 guy, and then just go at it from there.
All in the same night.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you win your fight and you have to fight again. You'll fight twice in the night.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I want classic rules. That's what I want.
Yeah.
We can go back to, it can be like WoW vanilla, bro. Give me Nuke Sukal, give me a Kumite, put a pit in the middle, some sand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got a little pill with sand in it.
Yeah. Your little pill.
Yeah.
And then rope, honey, broken glass.
Yes. Yes. And there's got to be fire somewhere. I need more fire around all the rings, all the edges. You got to have fire.
I need more fire for the walk-ins.
Yes. Yes.
I need a rope.
You know, if UFC did walk-ins like Bellator, it'd be a lot cooler.
Right.
Because they do like WWE style walk-ins. It's dope. So
I think the UFC should take a lot of notes from WWE, and if somebody wants to talk shit, give them a mic.
Well, I think that's what Izzy Adesanya, Israel was really good with that because he had dope walk-ins where he would do those dance moves and he'd have people come out with him, and that shit was sick. And his call-outs were always great. They were very, very WWE style. Michael Chandler legitimately quoted the 1992 Ric Flair WWE World Championship thing where he called everybody out. That was pretty cool. I'll give him that. That was pretty cool. I just want to see Conor back in there. Because,
I agree.
Because I'm tired of him talking about how great he is and then watching him lose. Because if you think you're the king of the 155ers, you got to start beating some of the 155ers.
I also though I don't think it sinks in. Like I think he understands that he lost and needs to get better. But I think in his heart of hearts, he still 100% believes he's the greatest ever.
Yeah. Well, you have to.
And I love that.
You have to think that. He even said that Khabib's not the champion because there was no belt ceremony when he beat him. He was like, he had to do it back. There was no unification of the belt because they had to get him out of the ring, so the belt was never wrapped around his waist, so I'm still the champ. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of logic is that shit?
I don't think it's a lie.
Yeah, I was like, well, all right, if you think that, then that means Dustin is the champ because he beat you. So, and even Dustin he goes, I'm the champ.
Yeah.
So,
craziness.
yeah.
You gotta be crazy though, right?
You gotta
to be. Do you though? I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
always on the fence. I don't know if you have to be crazy to be great, or if everyone that is great has happened to be crazy.
I think you need a little bit of delusional confidence. Things that you can say that are ridiculous, but they make sense to you.
Okay, so if they make sense to me, then is it still delusional, or is it just delusional to other people? Like if I believe I'm the greatest, and then in 30 years I am the greatest, but it took me 30 years, I wasn't wrong.
No,
you know,
but you were a little delusional to other people. I think delusional. It's all perspective. Like is the crazy?
Okay,
is
Musashi.
Is the homeless dude on the street fucking? And he's fighting a dragon. Like he's saying he's fighting a dragon and he needs your help.
But no, when
like,
the dragon claws at him, it doesn't injure him. So that is delusional.
Okay,
but
I think there are some UFC guys or even boxers that are delusionally confident. Like a guy like Jake Paul, or is it Jake Paul? Yeah, Jake Paul is.
They should fight each other, by the way.
Jake Paul is delusionally confident because he's the kind of guy that'll call out Conor McGregor and believe that he can beat Conor McGregor. That's delusional confidence. But that delusional confidence got him all of those previous fights to where he's fighting on a Mike Tyson card and knocking a dude out. That kind of delusional confidence.
Knocking out a parking lot attendant, basically.
But that kind of delusional confidence will get you somewhere.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but it does. And that's what's scary. Is that there are guys that believe so heavily in themselves that nothing you can say that where you can prove to them that what they're talking is a fallacy. It doesn't mean anything to them because in their mind, any obstacle is overcomable as long as they take it head on.
I think that's why I connect on a deep level with Mike Tyson is because he showed this delusional confidence, but it was all fake. Yeah. And he was legitimately terrified.
He's a legitimately terrifying person.
Yeah.
It's almost like if Francis Ngannou had the delusional confidence of a man like Jake Paul, he could knock out Stipe Miocic in 30 seconds. But he gets scared, and he got nervous, and he got taken down, and he got smashed for 4 or 5 rounds. But if you are as confident in all of your abilities that you don't even need to worry about a guy trying to take you down because you're going to starch him on his way in anyways, that is what gets you to those levels. I think you need a little bit of that.
I don't like it. I don't have that in anything that I do.
I don't have that in anything I do. And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this.
Hey, there's at least 5 people listening to this right now. And I
appreciate anybody that takes the time out of their day to listen to this. I really do, and I like doing it. I think it's
fun to just banter about fights because, like I was saying earlier, I think not that the standard's been lowered, but I think what set the UFC apart from Bellator and WEC and all those things when in its heyday was that that you'd always hear it from the announcers. Well, we're going to see how they fight in front of this big crowd and all of the bright lights. Now, there's no big crowd, and there's very few bright lights. Like, there's a crowd, but everyone's got that level of crowd if you have an organization. Yeah. So it's evened everything out, and it we said this at the beginning of quarantine that, like, I like that it kind of feels like a gym smoker. Yeah. That it's like, let's go.
Well, they were asking Dana, they're like, will Conor fight at the Apex? Will he fight if there's no fans? And he was like, I don't know. We'll talk about it. I don't know.
I wonder how they're adjusting their business strategy. I would love to sit in and see because obviously gate's not a thing now. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. Where's
I think it's all coming from merch.
Yeah.
They have the Fight Island merch and all that stuff.
And they also get packs. Guaranteed numbers from being on ESPN. Yep. So they're probably like, here's some scratch. Well, give me some of that scratch back.
Yeah, I know, man. Come on, give me a fucking refund, you motherfuckers. Give me some credits.
Yeah. It. They know that I'm gonna buy another pay-per-view, but on principle, they should have good customer service where you should respect your fans. Yep. It just shows us
the next pay-per-view is Usman Burns.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let me fucking.
That's a good one.
When is it?
That's February 18th or something like that. Not 18th because the 14th is a Sunday, so probably the 22nd. Not 22nd, the 20th.
I was like, how do you know what February 14th is? I'm fucking stupid.
Yeah. So probably February 20th.
I can't find it.
It's either February 13th or February 20th. It's one of those. Is the next pay-per-view, and it's Usman Burns.
I'm looking for the one you mentioned earlier, the one in March.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, let's see, March 6th.
Yeah.
Oh, so we got
stacked 4 champions and one card.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, they've done it before, and it's kind of a hit or miss.
It's kind of a hit or miss, but I expect this one to be good because the Sterling Yan fight is great. And the Izzy Blachowicz fight is also great.
That's going to be, yeah.
But Megan Anderson doesn't stand a fucking chance against Amanda Nunes.
I don't know.
Not even a little bit.
But everyone...
No.
If Nunes has an off day...
No.
Maybe.
Has she ever had an off day?
Not that we saw, but this is a new era of fighting, bro. This is a new era.
You're just saying that because Megan Anderson is tall and hot.
She's not that hot.
She's got all those tattoos.
She's okay looking.
She's Australian.
She's aight looking.
You know what was great is she was doing
I want Nunes to put on a clinic the way Holloway did.
Yeah.
Just like
I'm tired of these 5-round like whatevers like where she's just laying on top of somebody because she can.
I want to see a showcase.
Yeah.
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 Let those cannons off, girl.
Yeah. But they had Megan Anderson doing inside the octagon interviews for, I think it was Invicta, and she was doing the interviews for the atom weights, which is like 105 pounds. These girls are like 4'5", and Megan Anderson is like 6 feet tall, and it was so hard for them to get them in frame for the interviews.
She should have did it from outside the cage.
Yeah.
Just like, so what did you think about your fight?
Yeah. Do you remember in Powerpuff Girls, they had the secretary and then the mayor, and the mayor's all tiny, and the secretary's head doesn't even fit into the frame? It was kind of like that.
That's weird. You'd think production would have been like, would have thought about that.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they expected the atom weights to be so small.
What?
I don't know. It was great. It made me laugh. But
How
she's
do you
gonna get her
not
ass
think
whooped.
that
She's gonna get her ass whooped.
If you're wrong, you have to eat one of these flowers.
Okay, I will put money on that one.
We should put money on one of these.
Megan Anderson's probably like a plus 700 underdog.
I'll put $10 on that. I'll put $10 on that.
I think it's possible.
There's a lot of potential. I'm a big fan of potential. My entire life and career is based on potential.
Oh my gosh.
I hope.
I remember when Yuna Kunitskaya, I think is her name, had all this potential, and they put her in the cage with Chris Cyborg for her first ever fight. Yuna's first ever fight in the UFC was for the women's featherweight belt against Chris Cyborg, and she got her shit rocked. And I was like, this is like leading a lamb to the slaughter. It's not even fun.
Hey, if you sign the paper,
yeah,
it's all good.
That's what's kind of sucked when Chris Cyborg was champion. They were just feeding new, like, this is your UFC debut. Like, is a title fight.
Fucking monster
against the monster.
I love all the girls that are like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah,
I
could totally beat her.
Nunes?
I could beat Nunes. I mean, I only have 5 fights in my career.
That was a great. Oh, I miss those days of glory and monsters. And
sometimes I like to go back and watch Amanda Nunes just beat the shit out of Ronda Rousey for 30 seconds.
Yeah, you want to talk about looking lost in the ring, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
She was like, hang on, let me get my judo stance.
Yeah.
Stop fighting. Stop hitting me.
Stop hitting me in the face so I can take you down.
Yeah. Let me grab you. You're so slippery. I'm going to put money down. I think it's going to be more fun. I don't know how much. What's the next UFC then?
I think it's Volkov versus somebody. Alistair Overeem versus Alexander Volkov, I believe.
Every time you say Alistair Overeem, I'm like, that fucker's still fighting?
Still fighting, man. Through it all. He's going to have like 60 professional fights. He's that. You want to talk about CTE. That guy's got it.
Yeah, he's going to be like sitting with a bunch of Muay Thai kids that are like 17. All of them have 900 fights.
Yeah.
Can you imagine growing up in Thailand and having to fight like
those guys fight like 3 times a week
as a job?
Yeah.
Like that, not for glory, not because you love it, but because this is your city and that's how you pay your bills.
Yeah.
That's
those
crazy.
guys fight 300 times, like 3 times a week with ribbons all over themselves, and they get kicked in the head. That's wild.
UFC Fight Night, February 6th. Volkov versus Overeem.
I'm so fucking good. I'm like a goddamn computer.
That's nearby. All right. I hope today at work is
What's the
good.
fight after that? Is the Burns one or after that one?
Usman Burns. Yep, February 13th. Saturday.
13th. Okay.
And then we got Blades Lewis on the 20th.
That's a good one.
Blahovic and Adesanya.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna watch that.
That one for
That's
sure.
gonna be great.
I'm buying that one for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to look forward past March 6th because let's be honest.
Yeah, anything.
You don't know.
Anything can happen. Somebody can get
next
COVID,
week, bro.
Someone's gonna get COVID. Something's gonna happen. I mean, the Overeem.
Someone's gonna jump from a balcony to another room and get 86 from the company.
Yeah, the Blades Lewis fight was supposed to happen like last month, and then Blades caught COVID the day before the fucking fight. Yeah,
fucking rude.
Yeah,
I'm glad that there is frequent testing. Though,
yeah,
that through everything, the disrespect that ESPN and UFC is going to show their fighters and their fans, especially with this card, through and through, the UFC has figured out a way to do this right and let people work.
Yep,
and I respect the shit.
I do respect that.
So good on you guys.
Yep. Other than that, man, what time is it?
1:49.
I gotta get going.
Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna put money down.
We'll pick a fight.
We'll do picks next week.
Yeah,
right. Because today is we can do picks next week.
Picks next week. I'll put $10 down on one fight.
One fight. I'm gonna put them down on all of it, dude.
$10 on everybody.
Go home.
Okay, that's not bad.
We'll see.
Okay,
maybe. We'll see how my day is today.
Okay,
and then we'll move on from there.
All right, for sure.
Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at XWROTH _ XRoth _ and you can find me on Twitter, XWRTH, no underscore, XRoth on Twitter. You can find me there.
Dope. I'm at the George F on everything. If you want more stuff, more audio, more Buddy System stuff, go to thebuddysystem.co. There's a player on that website. There's our social feed. There's a calendar, which may or may not get some updates in the next month or so. We'll talk about it later. So stay tuned. Follow us everywhere. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Fight clean.